Let's see. Okay. Moderation. I just have to read it. Moderation. Okay, I don't care about those. So, hi. Can you hear me? I think. Um, Chat disabled for this live stream. Why? I wondered. I wonder why. Why? Okay, it is disabled. I guess this may have something to do with him then. Ah, interesting. I've never had that happen before. Um, I will see. I will see then if I can learn something about that. Wow. So apparently this have never happened to me before ever, and this is interesting in itself. But what I can say, anyways, about Pat, uh, first of all, I don't do this as a sort of favor to him or so. This is like a thank you for what they did, a small, tiny one. So, but I thought I could be here live and do stuff for you. So apparently I can't. Maybe I'll have to choose another channel for that then. Or maybe not be so upfront with what I do here. I don't know why this happened. How weird. Uh huh. That's strange. Well, I will just continue, even though I'm the only one who can apparently, not the only one who can hear, but the only one who can talk here right now. So, yeah, first of all, I had some things wrong. I have been quite tired lately. So, well, who is he? I think you should check his Facebook if you have Facebook. But they also upload, someone upload his Facebook lives also on YouTube, and I put the links to them beneath. So, so you can check those. Where he explained it himself is better. But also, as I've mentioned before, what they did in Ottawa that really had ripple effects all over the world, and it gave us. I live in north of Sweden. It gave us freedom back. It was quite clear because there were those mandates or restrictions here, not as bad as they have been over there, but and suddenly, without no facts changing in those constant I don't know what you can call them, but they had those on TV often talking about how it went and so on. Nothing had changed, but suddenly they just dropped all the restrictions or mandates. The same, it would be dropped the same day as truckers from Sweden would start their convoy. It wasn't as large or anything, but still, I think they tried to prevent that. I think they really prevented people to realize if they would hear all those voices because they are kind of drowned in the media. And as this may be a sign of that, I don't know. I'm not really good at this, so this may not be connected to that. That the fact that this is the first time ever that the live chat isn't open. So I will see if I can change that somehow. Uh, Maybe that is something. Maybe that's why he refused to be on YouTube. Apparently, I don't know who holds that YouTube channel, but anyway. So yeah, I also mentioned I didn't actually catch it up all of it, but the things he support, not only his own lawyer fees as he need help with, and that's why he is kind of allowed online even, or even in contact with us, so to speak, in the world. He talks a lot about just Canada though, but I feel that is it have to do with all of the world, really, with us all. So if I will soon get to the cards, even though no one can be here and ask questions right now. Will try to fix that and understand what's wrong. But because, as I said, never before this have happened. So I'll also start to laugh about that. Oh my! But another thing, well, I mentioned, I think there was someone called Garnet or something, who had a or have a he needed a kidney transplant, and his brothers, I said brother in last audio, but or pod, and that they really wanted to give theirs, and he had not taken the vaccine, so he is not allowed to get a transplant. But they still, and they aren't allowed. His brothers aren't allowed to, even if it's from them. They won't agree. But they do want his organs when he dies, though. The one who is this Garnet, or I think it was the name. And that's horrible, really. And the thing is, even though that those things seem far away for most, maybe especially when now sort of freedom is more back, if you say. But this is going on still. People are treated really badly, and it could have been you or me or anyone we love. Yeah, so that, and there are those who are in prison still without any trials. You know, that's also something that shouldn't happen in a free society, so to speak, or a democratic society. How could that be? And they raised their voices to be heard all over the world, and they were heard and silenced, and they therefore I feel like the last thing, or the least thing, I mean not the last thing, I don't hope, let's hope I'm not that silent, but the least I can do is try to bring some help. So if anyone listens to this, even if I apparently now can't do those with chat, so if you write a message, or I mean a comment beneath, I will do a reading for you that takes like 30-45 minutes. And if you want it to be on a certain subject, let me know. And if you like it, or if you just like these, you just want to support them without that, that's fine, of course. And I have no contact, by the way, with him. I have no clue. I don't think actually they maybe would agree with what I do. I don't know. So this is nothing. I'm not supported, let's say, with to do this, but I think any kind of support would be appreciated. And the fact that I don't have a lot of resources money wise, so I can't do that. So I thought I can do anything. I can do this anyways. So let's hope anyone gets something out of that. So I will read comments, and then I will, if I can't make the live work, let's say the chat, I will still I will still do them for you. And if you feel it gave you something useful, please donate something to this, whether it's $5 or whatever, would be appreciated, I'm sure. So, and I gain nothing from this aside from having the opportunity to do something. That's right. That's it. So, well, I will get to that then. Okay, I will just do 4 piles, let's say. 4 little readings, okay? I will first pick a card for just I will take this for the first 4, just like a startup. These cards are different. Whoop! I just dropped the whole. Sorry. This is called Soul Work. I think this is Swedish one. I don't know for sure. But I will take first cards for this, and this is for just general advice, kind of to take care of yourself advice, I would say. So, but you can choose a pile or you can choose several, but 1, 2, 3, or 4, and this is for number 1. I will get back and make pull more cards for number one, of course. But so this is maybe we'll see if you get any from this. I think number one don't get any from these, so I will take for number two here. I will get back to number one later for number two. Maybe this is not the deck. Okay, we'll try number three. No, so I will just leave this then. Number four, maybe just. Number four, there is take 5. It says for number 4, and this is the 17th card. You don't see a lot in them, but I guess it means take a break. Like, yeah, take 5 minutes for yourself to steer your focus inwards and to just ground yourself in the now and strengthen the love towards yourself. You don't need to do anything special, just to sit and hold your focus inward with the intention of giving yourself energy from within. So apparently it was most important to get that message for pile number 4. I'll get back to the other ones. So soon I will be blocked on the YouTube. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so now we get to the real stuff. I have a lot of decks here though, and I thought it would be more fun if someone could chat with me then, but we can't. So right now, so no one is in here also, so I wonder if this even is live. I wonder if something changed in the, maybe it was like made private or something, and then it's not me who have changed it, it's someone else. But I can't go back and check that now. So for number 1 then, let's see what is the message. And this is the steampunk tarot that I use. So first I get the Emperor, the 3 of Wands, and 6 of Swords. So this is someone that is the number 1 pile here. Someone who is very determined, very strong-willed, and also usually have his projects in order, and he have pretty many projects. But now he's waiting for some response here. He sent out, he have like signaling with these lanterns and standing at the beach and want to hear what those other parties respond back, kind of is the thing here. And then we see kind of a lift off. This is a little old type of plane, or even made up, because this is also an air balloon at the same time. But anyway, this is 6 of Swords, and it takes these are 2 people, a woman and a man, that moves from one side to the next, from one chapter to the next, or things start working and they get fuel, let's say, to leave what have been. And what have been is it have been a lot of waiting, I feel. It have been a lot of struggles. So yeah, that's what I can see here. But it will be well. It will be awesome. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think when this message come, this answer, then they can be free. It's kind of also what I see. Yeah. And this emperor can also be very set in his ways, very stubborn, very sometimes I wouldn't say blind. This is a worldly leader, of course, if it's an emperor, but he's very focused on the worldly things, so he may not always connect with the other more subtle or things. Let's say he may not even understand those. he may dismiss those things because he doesn't function in that way exactly. He focuses his energy in this life here and now, let's say, in the worldly way. Yeah. You have a lot. I'm not sure. I try to understand more about this. He seems a little bit. You can see it seem a little bit mean. It may not be though, but yeah. But maybe a little bit square, as they say. Some people could see him that way, but he keeps control on things, and yeah. Anyways, it becomes more free and easygoing and more uplifted. And by the way, I will just continue with this first. Yeah, it won't feel so heavy. It have been feeling pretty heavy and like stuck in a way, I feel. But it will be some liberation and freedom coming here. And like one thing, I will just leave that for the moment. One thing about Pat is that I get addicted actually to voices, but in his case, I don't think it's the voice especially. It's more like he's sometimes obviously what those voices are saying, but to me, it's the whole. I start to giggle. It's not in a bad way. I mean, in a sweet, kind way. But his energy of sorts or something make me like cheerful. So when I have not been on there now for a while or something, just like yeah, man, for a long while, yeah. But for now, if it goes like 2 days, I wonder. I kind of need that shot of his energy. I don't know. You have that. I mean, that effect on me, anyways. So we'll continue with number one. So that was the first thing I saw. What more? Maybe not more about number one right now. Maybe it's like just a tiny bit for you to see if it function. I mean, if it works for you, who chose pile number one, then you can ask for a free personal reading, and that will be obviously more exact because this is just for anyone who pick number one, so it can be directed in. I mean, everything don't have to be exact for you, but also. What was I going to say? I don't know really. I think I will move on to number two then, even if it was a little bit short, this one. But if you feel that you recognize it, maybe you want a full reading for free then. But if you like it and if you want to, please donate something to that. Okay. Because this have to do with everyone. It will spread. Even if they talk about only Canada, so to speak, it's quite large also, and if influences all everything else. So, anyways, it's not that. I mean, if things happen in somewhere else, it will reach here sooner or later. So we don't want that. We really don't want that. Even those who are very set in their ways of when it comes to these mandates and stuff here in Sweden, that's not so many now, but it was pretty much. We're an obedient kind of people. So anyway, so not I, but yeah. So what was I going to say about that? I don't know. Moving on. Yeah. I think it's kind of heavy air. I'm so influenced by the weather nowadays, and it's going to even maybe a thunder or something is coming, or it's something very heavy in the air. It just darkened a bit. Like I love that kind of weather because it releases all those stuck energies. I love that. Anyway, so here comes Page of Pentacles. This is a little bit of a spy looking from beneath their curtain. Actually, this is also someone that is slow. I think this is maybe connected to pile number one or to what I was talking about just, but as someone like checking in behind the curtains, like a little bit hidden, and taking their time to figure out what's going on, and not showing themselves really, but with good intent, I think. Just someone who isn't ready to step forward and show themselves so much. Okay. And then this can't be public now, right? Because otherwise someone would have checked in, although I don't have a lot of viewers still. So this must have been changed, but I will keep doing this and check it afterwards. And if I can go on live, then I will. So I will do this a little bit shorter then. So number 2 then. Number two. Oh, so here we go. Don't use these reversed, although some of them come reversed because it's easier not to. Okay, so this is, I got, for number 2, I got a lot more cards. I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. So what this is, the first card is Knight of Pentacles. So this shows someone who have their resources in order. They will cope, they will manage. They have their resources not piled up. That sounds like a negative, but like they have saved up so that they will manage in their life. They are quite keen on having what they need, so they are very well prepared and trustworthy like that. If you hang out with this one you will like cope very well. And then we have Ace of Wands, which also is a follow symbol actually, but they are starting to, here there is a hand holding a golden staff, a golden hand as well, and arm, like a statue of swords, and there are some certain leaves coming out from this wand, and also some berries, and it's starting to grow. Something is starting to grow from this is a new start, and it's a card of power very much, to really hang in there. And there are also 4 candles that are lit in various times, let's say, so they have burned down not equally much, and that brings me to some sort of preparation, like a waiting period also here, where 1 week you start, you light one candle, and then the next week another, and so on, like 4 weeks. This could symbolize to me right now at least some waiting time. But this is although Ace of Wands always, or all aces symbolizes potential rather than something that is manifested, I see that this is unavoidable. The success of this, the outcome, the successful outcome, and the win. I mean, that is impossible to not win this. This is so strong. This never bends. This golden hands that holds this wand. So it lights up the skies and the clouds move aside. Something really new and fresh and vital starts to grow here. So. And then we have the Hermit, and that can be somewhat. This is the same pile, obviously. These cards, this for all is for number 2's pile. So the Hermit here is standing on a where they have trash and stuff outside of the city, looking at the city. And by the way, the link I put in the description box, the other guys remind me so much of my first husband. They looked almost like that. Anyways, so I just came to think about that when I saw this Hermit, and he talked about living outside of the city and not being an experiment of this 5G, is it called? Anyway, so yeah, and this is also someone aware of time running out. He holds an hourglass, and I think it's London he is looking at here. Actually, anyways, but this is someone feels sometimes can feel a little bit old or strained, or a little bit exhausted by the fighting this, and feeling like being the only one doing so, and trying to hold their candle or their lantern. Is that it? What you call it if you hold one? Yeah, I think. Anyways, hold that up and share this energy with the world and show it. But I think some people are so far away and the skies are so dark, it's very hard to reach others with this good message and this bright message. Yeah. And then we have justice. Okay. So that can be a legal matter. I will see. But that will be a great outcome. So if this is anyone having a legal matter, or yeah, so asking about this, the world card come after this. So this was first of all, it will be an ending to it. That is like the world card as well, but it also means like a successful ending of a project of sorts. So this dark alone time that I've been with this hermit, that is that is becoming something of the past. This person will shine out through all four directions of the universe, of the world, as I also see in this Ace of Wands. This person will shine with all they have got, and that is a lot. So they will not be restricted by some. I mean, they will get justice. That is what the card says. Whatever that is about for you, it may not be legal in your case, but yeah, the cards are in your favor for sure. Then we have some little warning here at the end. This is Five of Cups. And that is a card. It's someone standing in a liquor, I mean, a bar of sorts. It says in the sign there behind liquor, and some girl is, or waitress is holding or serving two glasses of whatever it is here. But this one is very, very sad at the bar, have maybe been drinking a lot already, and see these three cups that have already fallen down, or something that have been lost, I think, emotionally, first of all. And this person does not see the positives and the bright sides, really. And that can be depressing. This can bring this person down. It can bring others down as well, as looking towards the things that have been lost only, or the things that are problematic only. So a real need, when this is over with, when you feel strong again and in your power, you do, but still alone. But when you start to feel that you can reach others more and so on, this Five of Cups also actually reminds a bit in this particular deck to not indulge in stuff like that, like alcohol or some things like that. And that is generally not the message, but also to take care not to stay too much in the past or things that you have lost before, but to look forward and appreciate the now, appreciate the strength you have now, and what you have managed to like survive through. You have so much strength in this hermit also, someone who have all they need also by themselves, but not to let these all the problems of the world also, but even if it's in a smaller world, so to speak, in your little world, to not focus in on those things all the time, but always turn your focus on to what can be the solutions, and keep that as the focus point. So yeah, that is for number 2. Then number 3, and I really look forward to check what's up with this, if I haven't if this is just hidden now. Interesting. Anyways, maybe I haven't changed it, then something else have been changing it for me, so to speak, but maybe it's easy to correct, I hope. Anyways, for number 3, 333. There we have pile number 3. Let's see what messages we have here. I think I will change deck for number 3. So this was the steampunk tarot. If you want to check the images of the cards, you can Google them. I think I will actually, one of my favorite, I mean, I have all my decks are favorites, I guess, but, oh, sorry. So this is the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot for number 3. One deck I don't use very, very much, but it's fantastic though. So, for number 3. Oh, that one wanted to speak quickly. So, what we have here is no, I thought it was the universe, but it's not. It's the star. Because someone is like, there are 4 cards, by the way. Maybe I should say that. Okay. Well, let's see. First, there are 2 major arcanas, and one is the star, and one is balance or temperance. And so, to begin with, in this star card, it's like a baby in an egg. I mean, not born yet, like, but floating around in the sky. I don't know. This could for some people be that there is something new to be born, even a baby to come that you haven't yet seen much. But this is like a golden child. This is a very, very something really beautiful is about to. It have started to be created, let's say, but it haven't yet been born. Whatever it is, very, very beautiful, and the very, very much hope is here right now for this pile number 3. And then we have 8 of water. I can't, all the Canadians know how to pronounce or even speak or at least understand French, but I don't. So there are certain French words here I will just ignore. But this is 8 of Congo, or water at least. And that means that here there is like a green dragon kind of person, or like a monster now, but something in the waters eating other snakes. Usually this is someone that is not fully content and therefore make a different choice, leave what they are at right now to go in a different direction. But here I think it's a little bit different with these snakes. I feel that there is someone being very, very strong here. And not only, I don't think maybe this could also be their baby snakes to this huge one. I think maybe this is not eating them. Maybe he's carrying them in his mouth to somewhere else where it's better. Yeah, this is someone have been disappointed and at what have been, and therefore, yeah, this is a very strong one to take on the task of even helping others to leave, those who even don't understand that they should, or it would be best for them. Carry them over these waves, so to speak. Even if not knowing where to go, even when not knowing exactly what the, let's say, end goal is here or where to, this one knows this is better anyways than what was previously. So that's interesting. Changes going on. And the bravery of doing so without knowing for sure what will happen next. And then we have this temperance card, which it's called Tibonange here, or however you say it. The little angel anyways. And here it's here in this voodoo tarot, they speak about working with spirits, obviously. And here this spirit is held on a vessel on top of the head of this woman walking here. And I think this is about the balance between you taking care of you as a individual and person, also listen to your little angel speaking through you, like your soul, let's say, or guides. Let them in, let their messages pour through you, to you at least, so that you can be guided also in this world by this. That's what I see. And then we have something I need to check. I don't work with these cards a lot because not everyone like this type of cards. I do, but let's see now. Santeria. Yes, it means earth. And also in this is the queen of, I guess, of earth. Yeah, in this type of witchcraft that I was taught to begin with, although I wasn't, they have changed a bit since then, but they work a lot with possessions like in Santeria. I think they do in Santeria, right? And so on. And voodoo, of course, also. So, anyways, deep spiritual work. So, the Yago, or how you say, initiate in Santeria, holds the position of the earthly part of Earth. Hers is the strength of the planet to support and, if needed, direct the forms of life upon its surface, almost like Mother Earth. But this is someone having a bow and an arrow, and I think this also is a staff of. This is a leader of sorts, very much. Oh, let's see now. The character of this Jago is well suited to the indwelling of the Orisha Yemaya. Yeah, it also shows in the center of her here, like the watery element, although it's earth. I think about Yemaya being connected to the oceans and so on. This card shows a Yago holding a pot and working with her guerreros or warriors. Okay. Elegua sits by the door and looks out to the scene. Oh, I didn't even realize that was it. Ogun is represented by the pot itself. Oshosi is an iron crossbow. That's what I was saying. Arrow, anyway. Oshun is represented by an iron rooster on an iron cup that is attached to an iron pole. The warriors are all present. Interesting. Yeah, many symbols in this card that I didn't understand. So there is a lot of support for this one person's cause. Character traits associated with this card includes benevolence, strength, beauty, and fearless protection. Right. So there are also physical traits, but I will just ignore them for now. So I think this new kind of world, it seems like, since this baby is moving out in the sky, it's like floating around in this with the stars and planets and everything. I think this is a new world coming to life. It moves very quickly also. Although it's very harmonious. This is meant to be. This is meant to be born, so it cannot be reversed. But it doesn't feel like this one is so protected in this protective shell. So it doesn't feel like it's a quick process, but it will be. So yeah, it's about changing the world, I feel, and bringing more spirit into it. More. Also, she wears the one in the temperance card, wears this white dress and white on her head as well, and so, and that symbolizes very much purity as well, purity of intent, not the least. Yeah, and this last card, there she wears very much of pink colors, and there is a lot of pink and green in the wall here, and so this is about, although the word warriors may sound a little bit aggressive, this is in the cause of, or in the service of love. This is for the purpose of love. Okay, number 4. For number 4, oh, so here, like, what the it checks from outside the door and say, okay, Ursuli the La Flambeau. So 7 of fire, 6 of earth is first, and then 7 of fire. So first of all, the Six of Pentacles or Earth symbolizes, in this deck, I think it symbolizes someone that can be really playful and show different sides and so on, like a trickster almost. Yeah. And to pay attention to that, to be aware that not everything is as it seems, kind of message. And then Seven of Petro or Fire here is a woman dancing with, she holds knives in her hand, and there is a lot of green, fiery things around her. Here is someone who is really, maybe possessed, but someone, this is Erzuli, La Flambeau, as I said, someone that is fired up in defense. Also, someone, not maybe in defense, but someone who is really, who really knows that she won't be fooled. No one will get to her, kind of. And you don't have to be her for this to apply. Let's see. Let's see what it says. Forceful and decisive action in the matter at hand, bringing to bear the full force of emotional involvement in the situation. Swift emotional ordeals leading to a refinement of personality and spiritual essence. Rage, persons united by anger. Okay. I really need to check this little liqua there also. Here is that. It's one right before. Let's see if it says. Proper care in the matter at hand ensures favorable outcome. The influence of a child or childlike person could be the message as well. Right. And we need to really share what we know to the children, not the least. They are the future. But it's very playful here as well. Followers of Santeria often have concrete orishas hidden behind doors to the house to protect it. That is also another message, of course. Some build buildings, some build saints. Oh, by the way, I don't remember now exact. I don't have a clue when it comes to numbers. Well, but it was those Sikhs in wherever in Canada, some group of Sikhs who gave money for the bail of Pat King. And I also feel they are so connected to the yoga, the Kundalini yoga that I do. And I'm so grateful to them as well that they see that this is absolutely wrong, and they will get their money back. But so well done by them, by the way. Why did I think about that? It was something I wrote. Yeah, it's about some build buildings, some build saints. That's I think it also is something they stand for. Ori means head, lost as shadow lengthen, complain the brightness of the sun. Yeah, because Legua is an old man who walks through the phases of the sun, so Legua is a child who carries the word, it says, not the world, the word and new seeds to lands barren with age. Oh, Legua is a child of Risha dancing between the red and black suns of Legua. The aspect of Legua presented by this card is that of a young girl with cowrie shell eyes standing partly behind a door. She is ever the trickster. She will let you in, but there is no telling whether you get out. On this card, the door is open to indicate a clear path. Success, it means, yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I think there should be some carefulness. I mean, if you get very cheerful with people who have not open intent, let's say, I mean, they have hidden agendas, and then you can get in trouble, so to speak. So be very careful about that. I also, this card also remind me, I connect everything to that process and everything, but it reminds me of also how some lawyers pretended to have his best interests and didn't. Apparently, those who would defend him worked from the other side, so to speak. And yeah, anyways, yeah. I think many of these messages actually say the same thing in various piles. But she is furious. This seven of fire. No one can stop this one, whether it's a man or female. Um, she's very swift and she can be violent, but um, the berserker armed by fury, yeah, equally capable of grinding corn or those who eat it. I'm sorry about that. That was so brutal. But she's dancing on some corn here also. That yeah, grinding them. So. And this is interesting. It also says this. Maybe you haven't thought about this. Rage and hate binds you to your object as closely as does great love. Rage and hate binds you to your object as closely as does great love. And therefore, when it comes to magical workings and so on, you shouldn't do generally something bad. I mean, if you don't want to connect with someone, if you dislike someone or anything, the moment you put your energy into something connected to them, you connect to them. And you don't want that too much, probably. It depends. But hate and love are both sides of the coin whose denomination is union. Will is the name of the hand that distributes these coins. Right? So, as someone said in my previous video, audio pod also, that we many times we all want the same things, but we come from different or we speak different languages sometimes. That's the only thing. Or we don't understand what others know or what so on. So there are some there are some testing times for this one. Maybe these are also two people, someone who tries to lure someone in some way and someone that won't be fooled. And this is such a high energy, this seven of fire. There is no chance to bring this one down. Um, so yeah, I hope that made sense somewhat to number 4, the pile number 4. Yeah, I think these are two separate people, and the anger of these, or the rage of these seven of fire, when this it could represent others who are like have some power and then want to restrict you or whatever it is. But it also can indicate, since it is a child, someone who does not know and therefore make very bad decisions that can also influence you in a bad way. So the anger is very much, and it's to a high degree, yeah, but it's also sometimes towards those who really don't have a clue. They don't know what's at stake, I feel. So some people. That was that. I think I should go and check whatever happened. I can continue to talk, but I think I'm private because now I have been here for like an hour soon and no one is here. So, I mean, not that I would usually have a lot. I haven't been here for a long time. And those from the other side, so to speak, other side of the Atlantic, they are maybe at sleep this time. So, but still, there was another thing I wanted to talk about just briefly before I see if I can change this. It's about these things that I talked about before, about connected to the chakras as well, and to the energies and the development of ourselves. As I work with in yoga, in Ayurveda, in the medicine wheel, as a shaman, as a witch, whatever. I, yeah, all over it. That's the same path that I'm walking, so to speak. And the first things that developed for us is this reptile brain, and we can go back to that state now and then. All of us have that. It's never. I mean, it's never incapable. What can I say? It doesn't stop functioning because we develop other parts. But so I mean, this is also related to what I wanted to speak about that I didn't mention in the previous pod. Is that this also relates to our perception of the divine. I have had a lot of wonderful experiences in various paths that are so-called different. I'm sorry, burping. So 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 I feel like the divine, or my experience is like this: the divine speaks to us through those channels that we can, the way we can receive them. It shows itself that way. It's not that if we call it the divine, then it's not that that is limited to those channels. It's like it's just limited to our perception, so to speak, and needs to work to reach us through our perception. And the more I've experienced, the more I realized that also in my case, it have never been that I have had to like leave something to find something else. It has just been suddenly I'm more of a mystic, I guess, in that sense, because every time I try to put a frame onto something, it starts to lose its life. It starts to be lifeless, and it I just yeah, it just loses its spark or something like that. But it's not that it's lost. It's just that my I need to discover more, and I think you can discover more in the same framework also. I mean, there is huge depth to be found in all kinds of various spiritual paths. So you can dive deeper into one if you prefer. But in my case, first of all, it was Christianity. That's what's most common around here, and so on. But that was really, really clear. And the experiences I had and have had, they are amazing. And I therefore also I wouldn't dismiss that, because I've later started to question certain things in it, certain things that I think are there from other sources, so to speak, that are there. And I'm not talking about, I don't believe in devil or hell or stuff like that, but those concepts, for example, have been put there from those who want to control and want to spread fear and so on, because that is a way to control, of course. So gradually I also was interested in Buddhism, have been, and then I come from the Sami people north, I mean here in Sweden, the natives here, and or on my dad's side. Anyways, I was searching for something that was more connected to the earth and to the elements and to the physical, that something that was celebrating that. I felt that this is not natural. It's not. I felt that this was something lacking, to say the least, in the other things. Although I've always been very connected, both to nature, but also to. I was also seeking answers, or kind of. How can you say? I didn't seek something to a label to it, but I wanted to understand it better. Yeah, that's what it was. And I wanted to meet those who did. And so I've been searching, somewhat desperate, I could say, in some ways, because I really needed some things to. I mean, it have been in both ways, both because I'm a very adventurous person in some ways, as well as it have been very, very fun and interesting, inspiring in all ways. But also that is like the maximum result. Sometimes I wrote, there was this question, I don't know, it was a book or whatever, but I remember it was like, define what you want more than anything else. It was like, I was around maybe, I could have been 30, maybe. I don't know my exact age, but at, oh, anyways, I thought about that. What do I most of all? After that, I got really, really sick. By the way, um, and it was that was an answer. But anyways, I wrote that enlightenment. I wrote, and that didn't mean like I want to be above everyone or anything like that. I wanted to understand. I wanted to have deep insight. I wanted to understand reality. That kind of thing. And I giggled to myself when I wrote that because I felt like, wow. I mean, there are so many things I could want, and I have really regretted that sometimes. But I still hold on to it. I still feel that that was a very good choice. But so gradually, I also came in contact then with Wicca and witchcraft, because I was looking for this more earthly based spirituality, and I found it, and I found a lovely group with someone who, she was like a mother to me in a very special sense, and yeah, felt very safe with her, and the group also, and here in Sweden, that I was part of, or I'm part of, but now not actively anymore. They are anyways, never mind that. So so I learned there a lot, and also learned to see through some of the cultural lies, or those his stories that we are told that aren't actually, that are built on previous stories, exact stories that came from other cultures and whatnot. So it's clear that it's about something else and whatnot. But also that was very intense, and I had other things that I needed to sort out with myself, eating disorder and so on. And so I was really tired, sort of, and needed to. I just needed peace, is what I felt, and I could have continued. That they said that you can just pause or continue, but I felt like a sort of a pressure to, from myself only, no one else. But I felt like I should so intensely go into this training that I also wanted, but it wasn't the right time for me. So uh, after some years there, I started to sit in Sazen for every morning and every evening, whatnot. It was so peaceful. I needed that. I think I did that for at least half a year or something, 20 minutes, I think, each time I was sitting, as I recall. But I was really, really, really content. I felt so really good. I mean, everything wasn't perfect, but I just felt a desperate craving for that. Um, And now I see that I worked through the medicine wheel without knowing what I was doing. Now when I do work with these four directions and the various things regarding them, I see that I did that. I was seeking the next step in my spiritual journey. It didn't matter what the outer description of what it is was. And also, yeah, later the shamanic path, but also I was a shaman. I mean, naturally in myself before them, but and a healer as well, and so and also Ayurveda and yoga and all that came. Also, I'm an Ayurveda therapist, and that also just, it was like puzzle pieces that fitted the same puzzle. It's not like it's disconnected from each other. Yeah, so and awesome things in themselves, but also to have them connected is fantastic. So shortly about that. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit is about these spiritual things. And as I also said, I'm not affiliated, is that a sweet word, for with anything or anyone, not to a group, not to certain way of seeing things. I've heard that also when you start to discuss certain things, or say how you see something. It doesn't mean that I mean, I agree more with certain types of ways of seeing things, but seldom fully with anyone. And I think that's kind of I think that's a sign that that is pretty wise. I mean, yeah, it doesn't. You don't have to disagree with anything, but to buy into what a certain whomever thinks, that I would suggest not to. Now my cat is yeah. So, anyways, what I wanted to say is that that can be the same. It can be the same way as I talked about with a hey baby. She's just standing and not moving. I don't know what she's doing. Yeah, now she moved. Anyways, yeah, if you feel like you are in danger, you need to have someone to defend you. And we project our image. I mean, we project our where we are in our development onto what we perceive as God. In the medicine wheel, we say that in the south, where we work from the beginning with the body and so on, and our senses, that is when we experience things as if God, the concept of God, that is something outside of us. And in the West, with the thoughts, emotions, and so on, then we experience God as something outside of us. And in North, when it comes to the soul level, we experience God as something that works through us. And in the East, which is the spirit, then we are God. And we all have access to all these levels, but we have to start in the South and work through these other levels to realize it in a good way. It's not like a super ego way. That's not what it's about. And you can't I have met people when I work in the medicine wheel with others that they understand the concept. They understand this in a conceptual way, or in the mental level. But that's not the same as I mean, everything when it comes to actually everything, but it's more so specified in, for example, Wicca, witchcraft, and shamanism and so on. It's about my own experience, uh, and it's much more so. I mean, this understanding and the what is the word for that, descriptions, but yeah, describing things and so on, that can be really interesting also and good, but it's more so about what we experience, and that is where things become real. And when we start to be able to understand where we are at in our perception level, then it gets way easier also to rise to a higher level when we need to. So we don't feel trapped as we usually do in problems and so on when we are at the level of the south or the west. So, and to begin with, like, these also go hand in hand with all the chakras. And to begin with the root chakra, then that is about survival and so on mostly. So, and the south in the medicine wheel as well. And when fight and flight is that is the response we get usually. And that is when we identify ourselves as who we are through. We define ourselves as our physical body or as the surroundings, what they perceive of us. And that becomes very primitive when we look at it from the other perception levels, let's say. And this is everyone can access this, but you have to go through certain processes to discover the other way of perceiving. Yeah. And I think that process also is very natural. Everything we come across in life, spirit is around us. It surrounds us. It's not just through like tarot cards or whatever. Because there was a loop. I didn't understand what it was on a TV, on a cafe where I was doing this with someone. And I said, it's not like it's the whole universe. Everything everything mirrors us. Everything is all the time there. We are never left alone without it. And I said, let's just try this. We had, that was this loop going on in the on a screen there was this like gamer shop where there was no one gaming that right then and there. It was just on something. And I said, like, let's ask questions and see what comes up on the screen next. Yeah. And then she did that and I did that. We had totally different questions we asked and so on. And it was so accurate, like when a when a card, like a tarot card or something, is like so super exact. So I told her this is not limited to the cards or to any specific person, but there is still a saying that when spirit calls, the shaman answers, and therefore this is an understanding between the shaman or the medium, you could say also. I think this is always the case, that when the spirit calls, shaman answers, and when the shaman calls, spirit answers. So it's not so that everyone without good intent, or with, I mean, you can develop these psychic gifts and so on without good intent. We all have that in our uh, toolbox. We have all these resources within that we can use. But when it comes to the communication and the working with spirits, then it is also a respectful, mutual contact. So if someone connects with me, some spirit that want me to, for example, contact someone else or help someone else, I do it if they reach out to me. And for example, one of my friends, her dad who had passed away, it was many years since he passed away. He reached out and said that you need to contact her, and we hadn't been in contact. We have known each other since we were like 6 years old, been best friends, like. But we hadn't been in contact then for like 6 months or something. When he said that, and I thought, oh, okay, I will do that then, and I called her and said what he said. She needs me, or I don't remember exactly now, but it was a couple of years ago. And she said she had felt so bad, and I don't think even if someone would understand who I'm talking about, I think she's fine with me telling this little story. Anyway, so she had been so sad and just crying 2 days before, and just asking for her dad to give her a sign or talk to her or help her or so on, because of the situations that were going on in her life. And that's why I feel like when I ask, they always answer, and they always answer everyone. It's not that I am special. It's just if we don't listen, or if we won't convey the messages as best we can from our own ability, or if it becomes an ego boost, or if it becomes like, yeah, making ourselves out to be something we're not, stuff like that, then they will probably seek some other, medium to work through, or shaman. But they will teach us, and yeah. So I know that it's not the same. I know that I always get what's correct, because that's how I work with them. um yeah. Anyways, moving on. So what I was talking about was this, how we see it from the beginning, how we project God. And by the way, there was also some, moving back to his path thing. He had Jordan Peterson from the beginning in some of his audios. Videos he have. Yeah. And I read him. I must say, I have a lot of good things to say, but he's also pretty manipulative, I believe. But never mind. It's just my view, and also it's very different from Canada and here. I realized, because or have contact with others from there who see it differently. Here, if you're violent towards a child, it's seen as child abuse. Over there, it's more so a natural thing. We are not so very alike as we sometimes think. It seems like we are quite similar up north in Sweden and Canada. But anyways, so in his, I read this, however many laws it was 10, 12, 13. I don't remember, but I read them from the back because I knew I was going to be like it's woven into the text. I read them the right way also afterwards, but I then saw how I wouldn't question it if I read it the way he wrote it, like the first chapter first and the second after. I read it from behind, so I started with the last chapter, and so. Anyways, because I kind of wanted to keep my yeah, my ego vision maybe, or my ability to hold some sort of distance and not be just swirled around. Like, I'm not saying he's trickster, I'm not saying, but he, in that book anyways, he talked about or mentioned that you should be allowed to, or maybe even think it was like you should it would be a good thing. I mean, it would be being a good parent kind of, to, or however, whomever the grown up, he had some example of him taking care of some kids that wasn't his even, and one who didn't want to go to bed or what it was, or eat or something like that. It was some years ago now, then I read it, but anyways, he meant that you should be as physically violent, so to speak, as it takes to get across to, let's say, a child, or so on. That would be no limit to what it would be. The limit would be what was necessary, kind of, to reach your goal. Then, for example, making them go to bed, and that to me sounds really, 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 really bad. I'm not saying it doesn't go on over here in Sweden. I'm just saying that generally in the society, it's seen as a very negative thing. Um, and yeah, I don't ever think that's okay to be physically violent with a child. And if you are, then I think you have lost control already. Like as in wolf packs, when the leader starts to, you know, lose its cool, sort of. Although you can obviously, you have to be able to, um, I don't know, sometimes maybe hold someone to cool them down or something like that. Or, I mean, there are all situations, and I don't haven't had children aside from my bonus kid that I love. So I'm not trying to judge here. What I'm saying is I don't think it's generally a good thing, and I don't I to promote that as a good way to raise kids made me pretty much back off from his from him, I could say. But anyways, he have good points, and especially when it comes to this and about the what goes on over there. He lives there as well, so I mean, about what goes on with the truckers and the unpacking and those kinds of things. I'm not sure he mentioned him especially, but um, how the government have treated this situation and everything, how horrific that is. That is good that they've done so. Anyways, yeah. So if you always focus on that, it was also some of the cards also focus on threats and dangers. Then all energy of the body goes through to survival. Everything goes into that, so that you are able to, for example, run into a burning house. I hear some music. I don't know. You hear there's a car outside. Yeah. Anyway, I can't hear what kind of music though. I just hear the car. So here it's always struggle, and it will continue to be because we are focusing in always on the struggle. And it's not that we shouldn't. And in the medicine we will talk about, we have to go through some of those and then start to more than pick weeds. We need to start plant flowers, or plant what we want to grow, the seeds that we want to flourish in the world. But we can't jump there. We have to go through these first phases where it's pretty much tougher to be. So, and then we don't want to understand others because we feel that that is dangerous. Um, yeah, those enemies, like, um, yeah. Do you hear? I don't know if you hear this. No, it's but anyways, yeah. So when it comes to, and I've also seen this with many on the, let's say if there should be two sides. I don't see it that way, but if it should be, like, there is there is the same sort of rhetoric from both sides. Both have a pretty clear way, judgmental way of seeing the other side, and that's what is also very beautiful. It was very many came together there in Ottawa, where it wasn't that division going on. It was more so we as humans, or there as Canadians, then coming together for what they thought was good for them, what they needed together. And I think we need that in the whole world. But we have to understand certain things to get there. Yeah. So I've met that, even when I've learned certain things that I previously were quite set in my ways, and I've had to question them. I also realized that I got some aggression from those that understood more, you could say, in certain ways. But what they didn't understand was that my aim was good. So because they also live in this way of judging unfairly, So and I can understand that people get tired to explaining things that they have known for years and years, but still, you know, it's a little bit the same thing still. So yeah, and then we project that perception onto God when we live in that way of perceiving, and when we are limited to the 3D, we still we don't question how come a very good loving God tortures some children of his, like, or where comes that kind of evil? It must come from the same place. So or generally from people who have described it that way, to keep their control or get the control. So yeah, so I think we should be careful not to get stuck in those spiritual uh, ideas either, you know. So, because I mean, limited to those, I believe that there is we are protected by, let's call it, the universe or whatever we call it. And I have that understanding also when it comes to the word God. I don't use that a lot. I use the goddess, but when it comes to, because it seems like that have to be like a male god then. Now I want to argue this with Jordan, but never mind, I should not. Anyways, he is opposed that. I know that. He doesn't like that. But anyway, so yeah, you see, it wouldn't go well for me if I would argue with him. Anyways, yeah. So, but the universe felt like also a cold word, like not personified at all. Like, but to me, it's more like the soul. It's like it's the love. It's the love. So anyway, whatever words we use, it's important to see that we don't fool ourselves to stay in this position of thinking we are unworthy, or we have to, like, beg or even punish ourselves or whatever it is. We are here to grow in understanding and consciousness. So because I mean, it's politics that usually use religions also to start a lot of madness, but also, where does it come from to begin with? Sometimes. these set ways of seeing it. We become like, yeah, like sheep, following something we aren't allowed to question, and then we also get slaughtered. So we don't understand that that's where it's going. We put our trust into something that isn't worthy of it. So because something that is truthful, we can question it. We don't have to be afraid to question things that are correct. It's only the things that really does not, I mean, won't oh gosh, I don't come up with English words, but don't hold up. What can I say? They are the one things that we cannot question. So but sometimes we want to lie to ourselves because that feels better than just being a harsh world, to survive in that and there is nothing else. But to so we may take on that, to have that protector, and hold that tightly, because we can't loosen the grip that must be true, because then everything is very scary. Yeah. So we don't usually, people who work that way, and we all did or do sometimes, but doesn't really realize that. It's just that we think that it must be the right and true way. We don't understand that we are driven by fear. So yeah. So and when well, and also when it comes to politics, actually, when something is just it's a law, when someone just says something, what it's called, mandates, whatever, you have to be able to question things. It's not like the power have that's the right thing. And I don't understand. Everyone who have heard history at all must understand that we must question those in power. That's very dangerous not to do. Yeah. But still put our focus on more what we want it to become, rather than only the things we don't like. Yeah. And that we can grow and we can understand more when it comes to both spiritual things and in this world, obviously. But we have the right to. We don't have to be just trust blindly in anything, the politicians or the whatever priest or priesthood. We don't have to. And I also think about Sinead O'Connor and all the things she said. Watch that documentary if you have the if you have the whatever the word is, if you can. Yeah. So it's like you should bow your head down. And I was actually last year's, I went through some, or last year's, it was some years ago now, but it was quite some harassment. And for 2 years, I went to church, not every Sunday, but many Sundays. And I cried and I cried and I cried. And that was the only place I cried, actually, I think. But it was like, and I didn't go there to cry. I just felt that was peaceful place to sit. I wanted to sit uh, in just feel the energy of the place. And it took me 2 years to stop crying for the things that had happened, especially others than myself. But anyways, I needed to sit there. I needed to get through that process of sadness, and sorrow, and I don't know, just like eyeballing, like I was sitting at the back. I thought about going there more so, but I haven't been there for a while now. But anyways, and I also, when I listen on what is behind those stories and what they are saying. It's not that it have to be. I can hear something else sometimes in what they are saying exactly. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that was a good place for me at that time, or needed, very much needed place to me. Yeah. And as I said, I also then I didn't live. Right now, I live between the churches, in between the larger churches in this town. And never mind, I won't go through that again. I've talked about that before, about the tree of life in Kabbalah, and that I decided where I wanted to live, and I ended up right there. And I I also feel there is no accidents. There is no like. I mean, everything happens for a reason, and so yeah, I think I should go and sit there again. And also the things we do that also signals something to others. You know, those in fear, those in limited belief systems, those in fear, they can relax a little bit if they see you there. Not that that was my aim, but I mean, they actually maybe can at least question uh, their extreme judgment. Maybe they can question themselves that maybe they weren't totally right in everything they thought or so on. So it can be a good thing also. Because yeah, because what? Um, and also about the snake, which is in the south of the medicine as well. And talk it also Kundalini, as I teach Kundalini yoga, and that it's about consciousness, become more conscious, and it is about independence and being able to take or make your own decisions from yourself, from within, and from the whatever you take from outside as well, but you can question it. So you are here to grow, but you have to come to um, you have to grow in bravery first to be able to question something that you feel have to be right. It's a natural, it's natural in us to want to grow. Yeah. So and as it's very easy to see that also Christianity have caused a lot of and do cause a lot of harm. So and that can provoke others as long as they also are stuck to those limited beliefs. I mean, if you hold on to labels or what is that called now then? Well, just words, what things are called, like then then that's just like air. It doesn't mean anything. You have to understand what it means, what it stands for really, and what is actually there. And that's why things can go so bad as they did in Ireland and for Sinead O'Connor and all over the world that have happened, actually, not the least in Canada for the natives there and those uh, Catholic, those schools they send children to and everything. And many native women have just disappeared over there. How is that possible? You know? Yeah. Anyways, so to paint something out as good or bad may not be true. We need to be able to carry both sides and realize that in this, I mean, little yin yang thing, in the good there could always be, and it could be really really bad. But and in but that doesn't mean yin yang is more complementary. But anyways, the light and darkness and so on. But yeah, when it comes to everything, even in where there is something bad, there can be good things. And maybe our perception is just what make us not see what's there. So yeah, and also it's this feeling of guilt that make us humble in a bad way sometimes. That we can give ourselves absolution, and that we are the only ones who give. We can only give them that to ourselves. If someone from the outside does it, wonderful. And I think we need to be able to have someone sometimes to see us. They don't have to be a priest, but someone we trust with our secrets, if we have. I mean, whomever, to someone, not whomever, but someone who are able to still not judge, who's someone who is able to still see us with love, then I think we are able to forgive ourselves, or to rather not forgive exactly, because we couldn't know what we didn't know when we made certain choices. No one could. So we don't really, there is no point in judging anyone else either. But it's Friday. That's why all these sounds are going on, this party going on. Maybe there is some festival in town or something that I didn't know of. Maybe there is actually. I've heard they prepared some certain things yesterday, and so anyway. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I think we need to come to that conclusion with ourselves, and maybe we need other people to help us get there, to be able to like accept and respect and love ourselves the way we are, the way we usually can with others, more so than ourselves actually also. So yeah, but there can be a lot to work through getting there. The survival and the guilt to be lifted, we need that. Many need that. But we don't need an outside force to do that for us, because that love is constant. We are it. It's always there. We cannot, we, as it's also told in these newer myths, so to speak, that we could be separated from, let's say, God, or separated from the paradise or whatever. We are the ones separating ourselves. We are never separated. It's only in our perception. We cannot, because we are it. So, anyways, yeah. So, as long as we feel that we need someone to protect us, we will want to have control. And that is what also, I mean, there are sinister, so to speak, intent in certain, I mean, certain, those certain power, with certain power, but I mean, who does not care so much about others than themselves. But there is also, what was I going to say now? Yeah, I don't even I forgot what I wanted to say. But anyways, we have also to be, we can't question as long as we need a protector. If we think that is something outside of ourselves, that we have to have protecting us, like in a spiritual sense. I mean, no, like as if we should always go around. I mean, it's good to be thankful and grateful for everything we have, and we can also communicate with this, whatever we call it. But if we feel like we should feel guilty, then I mean, there was time when I felt guilty for using, I mean, to flushing the toilet, because there are 25 liters of water goes away every time, or to wash my hands because I used up the water of those in Africa. I don't know, when I was kind of, I don't know, teenager or 20 something, I was like, I felt guilty for almost everything, that I had a roof. Now I don't know, but also thankful. But it was like, it was wild how much guilt I felt for everything and everyone, that it was not mine to take on. The my Of course I should care, but my responsibility is to help myself grow also in understanding, and then doesn't go in that dramatic, neurotic way, you know. So, and obviously we need to think about these physical things, but that's not maybe the most important thing. Still, it have never been to me. I maybe actually, no, I didn't ever think so, but I realized recently that it doesn't mean anything to me. No, I mean, yeah, of course it does. I want to live and have what I need, like in a basic level at least. But abundance of things, like in money way and so on, that's nothing that really does it for me. That doesn't have a high value to me. um so but this is also another perception or idea that is like, uh, spewed out there on TV or wherever, it's shown always that that is what is happiness. That's what we should strive for and reach for, so that the bankers can have us take more loans and control us more. Yeah. So, anyways, and if we question things, people can feel it as if we question their like beloved parents, although those are very unjust. It's like become so personal. It's just, it, yeah. If we can't take a step back and to look at the whole picture in a different way than being attached to a certain viewpoint, then we will always feel attacked. So, yeah. And that discrepancy or that disconnect, when the emotional kick, I mean, I think that's their guiding system also, we should listen to them. But when the emotions kick in, so in a more a confused way, we don't see clearly, we have no clue, we can't see that this is not love, this behavior, or this is harmful. The way they did now with these mandates and everything, I mean, that was so clear to many of us, and I'm so happy for those who did like influence me to wake me up to see that. But it didn't take a lot still, because it was quite obvious. But if no one would have said anything, probably I don't know, but maybe I would have been blind. But that confusion of not being able to see that this is rather harmful than helpful, it's like a scar in people, because they need so much safety, and they have that the safety must be that what they say in government or whatever, or that religion or whatever, it must be true. Good and evil is like a mess. It's not no way to sort it out, what is what. And I don't believe in evil, but anyway, like such, I believe that people can bring, and that is another thing in this medicine wheel and that tradition, shamanic tradition I work with. um, we are the only ones, the human beings. Everything else is in harmony with the rest of nature. We are the only ones, as they say, that create imbalance, because we don't live in that harmony. When everything is in reciprocity. Is that the Ayin it's called in that tradition? When you give something, then something comes back, and so on. It's always mutual, like a mutual exchange with everything. And we don't do that. We take, we take, we take. And of course, everything is out of order then. And we think oh, you can't talk. We think we can control that. We can't. Mother Earth will get rid of us if we don't get get in line. I was almost going to say no, not get in line, but get in harmony with ourselves and understand, first of all and most of all, who we are and what we truly want. Because those things that we are bombarded, or we are the propaganda that with the things we should both like and dislike and so on, and be aggressive towards and whatnot, but also the things we should want to buy, the way we should want our lives to be, the way we should want to live our lives, the priorities we should have, where is our happiness. We are fed with what that should be, but the aim is to lead us in a certain direction. It's not for our happiness. And always when we don't get what we really need, where I mean when we seek it somewhere else, we feel more and more empty, and so we get more and more, as our society is more and more addicted, more and more uh, craving and desperate also, because we need it so much more. The less we find it, as if we eat something that have no nourishment, we will want more and more. So we need to find what makes us truly happy in our souls. And I think many goes in that direction, but still there is a lot of things to do. We don't understand that this whole concept, and I am not saying I understand everything there is. There is someone I really love. He says, he asked me, I think it's so sweet, and I start to giggle because this is something that really upsets my dad. He thinks I know it all, and I mean I think I know it all, but I do think not I know it all, but I think I know what I know. Of course, why would I ever have any thought if I didn't believe anything? It can't be. But there was someone who said like, "Oh, so when did you become all knowing then?" I think that's so sweet because yeah, I'm not, and I don't mean to sound like I am, but I want to partake in this revolution. It's a revolution. It's a good, sweet, lovely revolution that we could do together with each other, not against each other. You know, yeah, but also this feeling that we, we identify with our things, with the things we own and all that. That becomes something we also cling to. So we are so afraid that our neighbor or someone else would have more or take it from us or anything. We get very dependent to yeah, to be slaves. Honestly, we get very easily steered in different directions because of that feeling that without this or that we would like cease to exist. But maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it is. So yeah. And those gods, let's say, who he's so much love and generosity, all kinds of good things. How can that be if they torture others? That must be something in the minds of someone who are stuck with those views or systems of belief to understand. But yeah, I don't know. You should question that anyway, I feel. Whenever whenever you anyone feel like that, then yeah. But yeah, what can I say? At that, when you are there, you can't hear it from another perspective either. So who am I talking to? But yeah, eventually maybe it reaches someone who understand what I'm saying. Because I learned anyway, words don't, I mean that they are just words, but still I when I heard others that have realized certain things is when I understood certain things. So I feel like if someone start to question things from certain things that I say, maybe hopefully then that could be of help. You know, I hope. So we don't have to be. It doesn't have to be only positive. We can still like something and we can love something, even if we see that there are various things that aren't really good. You know, we don't have to be so dominated or so fearful that we can't allow that to be, you know. So yeah, we don't have to be just positive towards something to be like accepted, not the least from other people. Then we are like we have this, what is that called then? Well, um never mind. God, I can't come up with the English words, but like when you have a white flag, not a white flag, but you like rest your weapons kind of, but it's not peace. It's like a cold war almost. Like you kind of pretend, you live in a pretend world. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So and there is also never, you can never really satisfy this. You can never, as long as you keep that perspective, you will always strive for something that you cannot ever reach. You know, you don't ever know. So, and because of that, you have to like make up some other side of devil or something. Yeah. So, we as I talked about also being amoral, not on without moral, but making our own value system from within. Where do my values coming from, and what do I stand behind? What are my values? Not from a preset system of values that I should like adopt, like just like that. Maybe I should question, okay, where does that come from, and who does it serve, actually, and so on. Mm. So, anyways, I think the best way probably to meet those who are very fearful is with the doses of information, way less doses than this long pod. But, you know, if we understand that those people aren't dumb, and sometimes it's ourselves, we aren't dumb, we aren't stupid. We have also our bumps to get past and to reach new understandings and so on. But we maybe shouldn't confront aggressively those who are already fearful to such a degree that they did comply and even participated in all this craziness that was going on. The fear is still already there. We don't need to add fear or come with another equally fearful or more so fearful let's say story, although that's true though. Trudeau. No. But yeah, that's not what they need to hear, maybe. Not maybe that is too much, I mean, to take. Maybe they need, but I mean, that's too much to take in when you already feel so scared, you know that will just be pushed away, like. So we need to maybe we be more considerate with each other, and also not least be able to communicate. Yeah. So, and free speech and so on is very important in our world. So, I mean, if there is not, what is there to fear with others' way of seeing things? If we don't agree, we can also say our piece. Yeah. So, yeah. So, this, and I will try to do another with maybe there where I can see comments or when people can see it. I will upload this if this was private. Then I have not made it private, so someone else have it. So is in that case made it. So then I will go in again. But the bravery of these people in Ottawa, wow, they forever have my respect and my love, because that's why I can go to the cinema here. That's what I can go to concert if I want. That's even why I can go outside. Yeah. It may sound wild to some people, but yeah, truly, that's how I see it anyway. I have them to thank for all this. Yeah. And that I one very very important thing also is that I don't have to take the shot, get jabbed, let's say. If it weren't for them, I would have probably have to in some future, or even as of now, to have access to certain things that I absolutely need for survival. And I have such discussions. One of my actually now kind of personal trainer, health coach is. He was. I was discussing so harsh with him. I didn't know he actually was the. He was the head of that place. There was a store. When they checked people, you couldn't come in, they checked so you had a mask on when you went into the store, and I had none. And I'm usually, I mean, I kept distance and I was careful like that, but I didn't have that. And I was discussing very harshly with him about that, about how would that be? You can't buy your food and groceries if you don't, like, it. Nothing of it made any sense. As well as like, I think that was like the day before they should lift all the all those mandates here. I went to another store in this town, Coop, and they had this lineup. There was this, or it is still this, where the section where they have the milk and eggs, whatever such things, cold things. And so you had to stand in line, several people. I don't know how long that line was, like 10, 15 people. Maybe it was a lot of people, anyways. So one and one, you should go exactly around this little place in there to get your thing and then out. Like, yeah, that was like it was not a huge section. So, but anyways, so the thing I needed was like, just so you can reach with your hand from the outside. You didn't have to even go in, but it wasn't like in the end of that. You have to go. Do you understand what I'm saying now? You would have had to stand first of all in that line with others, then very afraid of any coughs, and then you had to go through all all that inside to get to the last part that you could reach already from the outside, almost with your arm. And I thought that, okay, I can reach that, and they say no. You cannot. So I just skipped. I thought I would never ever go to that store again. And they knew then that this is the day before all the restrictions even would be, all the mandates would have even be lifted. And they stand there, like, I think there were two or three people, like guards, checking so everyone went that way then. So everyone who needed to go in there for a longer time, and it was like, it's so stupid. Yeah, anyway, yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So, and of course you can also understand those who won't, even if they think they won't speak out. And I also am, I just don't want all the drama, let's say. So I try to not, on Facebook at least, with the people I know and so on, I don't want to cause any, what can you say, I already know most of their standpoints. I don't have to. I think there were one agreeing with me when I cheered them on or not in Ottawa. One girl, yeah, awesome enough. It was one, but that's like, yeah, everyone else is like thinking you're insane. So, yeah, but I can understand that the fear of losing what you have, I can understand that, and the fear of being abandoned, or that people wouldn't disagree with you. But to me, that is not so hard because I've been like this for all my life. So I've always had people disagreeing with everything I did, or many things I did. So to me, I'm very, very well trained in this. Yeah, and now also meeting all kinds of stuff latest years. So I think, I'm not so afraid, but I'm not afraid at all actually. But I just feel that it's unnecessary because they don't hear, they don't listen. This whole saying, "You who have ears, or you who have eyes, you will see and hear," like, or listen, or however it is. It's like Bible, I think. Anyways, that's very much how it is now. Many don't. So yeah, and this kind of, if we hold on to something like that, we will never satisfy the needs of others. Control. You know, it won't come to a point where we, okay then, like. Yeah, but then again, I'm happy for those who are in the front lines. Let's say I'm quite back here trying to say my little piece, but yeah, but I think it's very important, and I hope someone listen to someone who say what they think. Maybe this is like a, well, I will check whatever this is. Maybe it was because I mentioned that word. Maybe that's why I can't have any chat. Well, maybe I get it back after this. We'll see. Yeah. And if so, then I will. I mean, I understand that also how that triggers so much. If that would be so, that I'm here. I mean, on YouTube are restricted now to speak out. Then you start to get really scared because that is not good. That is not a good society, and that is not good online. I know that he also and many people are so restricted and, as he called it, shadow banned, like you won't reach or get notifications of them or whatever. But then when you realize that people who aren't subjected to it don't understand that this is so much about control, and what is the agenda then? You know, why is that scary? You know, yeah. So then I would absolutely turn the volume up on myself. I'm gonna have to go on the streets having some I don't know what. How I must get organized in some way, I guess. I'm not though, not yet. But I mean, really, what's going on? Yeah, this is very. There are so many things that are quite corrupt. Do we want that, or do we just want to hide under a rock and pretend this has not happened to others? So, yeah. Everyone should do what they feel is the right thing for them, of course. So, yeah. But I think it would be a really good thing if we can respect each other that much that we at least listen. When I start to talk with other who feels like they on the other side of viewing this, they already label me with a lot of thoughts that I haven't had, or a lot of ideas that I don't think, or a lot of whatever. And because that they have made it like a figure of, if you don't want to take this vaccine, then then they put a lot of other ideas onto you that aren't even true, but in their mind that's like how it is. That's interesting. And I mean, smart people should understand that you should probably maybe listen to that person, it's themselves, what they actually say about what they think. And that goes for both ways, for sure, but still, yeah. So, yeah, we will see. And now I also put this on the label. It's now I will be certainly not be able to have my channels maybe or something. And then I giggle. It's not fun though. It's not really fun. Yeah, yeah. It's like enemies of the state. Yeah. Mhm. What is then the state? If so, if you can't question things, you should wonder that. And don't you think that will spread? When will that silence you? I mean, I also have heard this whole thing when all the surveillance and everything. Oh, you should not be afraid, you know. Uh, or they say like, well, if I don't do anything stupid, that's not a problem. Well, then I also wonder what's about this whole. Have you ever heard history? Have you ever understood that there are sometimes, oftentimes, maybe are people in power that don't care about you, that don't care about like, yeah, I just don't understand that. How you don't understand that someone could have access to that without any good intent whatsoever, with even very, very bad intent. And we should at least prevent total control in that sense. Because how could we then oppose it? Then we are fully slaves. And we have like agreed to that. And now we don't even need to. I also carry my phone with me and everything, but like we all like agreed to be monitored, you know, and that's the world we live in. But and we like we don't only comply, we want it, you know, we ask for it, for the newest technique, so that we can be even closer, even our pulse can be monitored all the time and whatever. Yeah, there should be questions. It's not that it's possible to stop the technique, the that kind of could you say evolution, revolution, whatever, but you should at least I mean, yeah, I don't even understand how it's possible to think like that. That, well, I've done nothing wrong, so please. What kind of, now I realize what song this is even. I wonder what's going on here. What kind of party it is? How can I have missed it? It's right outside of my door. I try to listen now. What kind of song it is? I don't know. I recognized it's just, maybe there is some concerts that I had no clue about. Huh, I'm gonna have to Google that. I have to Google it now. Let's see. Kind of, it's like, let's see what goes on here now. Oh, it's Veronica Maggio and Miriam Bryant, I think. Is it? Yeah, it is. But now it should be like just rehearsal then, because it's like in the afternoon. Yeah. Veronica Maggio, Miriam Bryant. Oh, I thought I recognized this is like Veronica Maggio's song, I think, that one that I heard. No. I could link to them also if you haven't heard them before. Anyway, so there is one song I really love. I love a few of their songs, but anyways, okay. Um, yeah, but yeah, as I said in the previous part also, that when your integrity gets more important than being accepted, you also reach a new strength. You realize even more so who you are. You don't have to be. You can also be free to think for yourself. Then you don't have to suddenly shift into just coping by picking someone else's ideas, and that is something that is provoking to everyone. When I when I Christians went well overboard when I started with the Wiccan witchy things. Not, yeah, you have chosen side. It was all kinds of things. They were praying for me for years. Thank you very much for that. But I also had this one priest and a nun that I've been pen pal with, that I really love, and they didn't judge me ever. It's rather those those fearful that weren't on, let's call it level, but yeah, they weren't as well. Maybe you could say loving, tolerant, whatever, or insightful or whatever. But then on the other hand, also there have been like discussions with other weekends of witches. Well, there, how can you like, how did I not leave that? How can I like embrace that still? Because there is like one God, and there is so many conflicts they have with with my beliefs, with my way of embracing a lot of things, problems that I don't have, and the spirit world certainly don't have those problems with anything. So it's interesting how it can go in both ways, and also when it comes to politics. If you, I don't have to agree with everything that everyone says that or whatever. There is not, there isn't ever everyone. Also, you know, although there may be many people thinking in a certain way. Yeah, when you meet any individuals, you still need to listen to what they say themselves. So yeah, So it's about principles. It's about value, your what your yeah, what you stand for, rather than something from outside, with force pushing something onto you. And you shouldn't have to dismiss what you inside, I mean, your own view, your own understanding of things, you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. And of course, many of those who work in the fields of whatever, fact checker or whatever they are, that are there to control things, to not go out of hand. Many of those mean, or at least some of those mean well. Of course, they really do. They mean to protect what is good, but there is a line when that where that also goes to being oppressive and tyrannical. And sometimes that's not easy to see from that, where they are, if you don't question. So, but obviously there are those who also know it. There are those who know that they promote the fear to be the ones to save in whatever way they can also control you more. So yeah. So yeah, I will get back to spiritual things to talk about that later. But why? What is the whole concept of this kind of, or this concept of God that created a scary world? I mean, why? Why would that be? To oppress us only? So we should maybe question that perception that we made, and who are the ones that made it up as being a scary world, or maybe made it up to be a hell beneath us, with, like, you know. So, anyways, yeah, that was that. I won't go back to that. And I talked about almost the same thing, but didn't mention spiritual things in the previous pod. But I wanted to get that out there because I feel it's important. Yeah, because if we don't understand this will always continue to be the main thing. It will always keep existing, this reptile brain of ours, and having its expressions, but it shouldn't control everything, and we should be able to grow, to deal with it, so we don't always go into these emotional positions when we feel pushed, like, so we get stuck in certain like, blinded ways of seeing things, or anger, just. Well, that was that. So yeah. And I maybe have to say that also, I'm not against any, well, no, not totally. Some religions, or spiritual, so to speak, things I may question quite a lot, but it's not that. It's whatever it is, whatever the words for it or whatever, that is not the thing. It's about how conscious we are. That's what I was talking about, and what we project from that frame of mind, or that insight or lack of it. We project our perception of what the divine or so on is. So, okay, I will end now and see if I can get on here again. I will put some songs from these two beneath also. in the description box. But please send a message if anyone. I mean, not message. I mean, put a comment here if any of you want me to. Yeah. God, I always any of you want me to do a reading for you, full reading for like a half hour or so on. And I will try to fix this now. I will do it right now so I can see if I can use this, or otherwise they have actually stopped me also. Then it's very, very interesting. But hope not. Hope not. Hope it's me. I haven't done it though, but hope I can change it back if nothing else. So bye for now. Take care, everyone. Thanks for your patience with me. Patience. God. I'll get back to knowing how to speak English also. I kind of forgotten words a lot when I haven't spoken it for a long time. So, well, bye for now.